I want you to receive this in the stillness within your own heart. Breathe. Unclench what you have been holding. Let the shoulders fall. Let the war inside quiet enough for you to hear what does not shout. I do not come to you with thunder or demand. I reach you like the first light of dawn upon a room that has been dim too long. This is not condemnation, nor is it abandonment. My child, I have never left you. I do not speak to instill fear in you, but that you may live. Pause. Listen. Remain. You keep circling the same message, the same conversation, the same apology, the same boundary. It follows you into the shower, into your commute, into the final minutes before sleep. It returns in the morning when the first thought rises and the heart tightens. You rehearse the words and then you retreat from them, telling yourself that another day might be kinder, that a future version of you will be braver, that perhaps the need will fade on its own. You fear what it will cost if you speak. You fear what it will reveal if you are silent. You are torn between love and protection, between hope and honesty, and in that tearing you whisper the word that has trained your soul to delay. Later. Hear me, my beloved. Delay rarely presents itself as rebellion. It wraps itself in softness. It speaks in gentle excuses, in noble distractions. In the soothing lullaby of postponement, it says, not now, when the moment is perfect, when the heart is stronger, when the other person is more ready. Yet, without raising its voice, delay teaches your heart to live without obedience. It closes doors without sound. It turns what is living into a memory that aches, and it names that ache regret. What you keep calling later may be the very moment I am calling today. As it is written, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Hebrews 3:15. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour. Matthew 25:13. I know why you hesitate. You imagine outcomes like storms, rejection, misunderstanding, the unraveling of a fragile peace you have tried to keep. You remember the pain that followed other attempts at honesty. You wonder if you are hearing me or only hearing your own restlessness. And so you numb with busyness. You scroll past the moment where courage would rise. You tell yourself that wisdom is waiting when in truth, your waiting has become a way to avoid me. My child, I do not measure you by speed, but by direction. One faithful step in the light is more precious than 1,000 paces in circles. I will not crush a bruised reed, and I will not extinguish a smoldering wick. I am not asking you to run ahead of grace. I am inviting you to take one step with me while your heart is still soft enough to move. There is a tenderness in you that has not died, though you have been afraid to trust it. That tenderness is not your weakness. It is a sign that your heart has not turned to stone. When your heart still feels tender, do not call it later. Call it now, because tenderness is the soil where obedience can take root without violence. The longer you wait, the more calloused the path becomes, and what could be said with peace begins to carry the edge of self-preservation. Light is truthful by nature. It reveals in order to heal. If I bring light to the very place you dread, it is because healing is ready to begin there. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. Do you see? I am setting before you a path that does not confuse love with surrendering your soul, and does not confuse boundaries with bitterness. There will be a moment, and it is near, when you will know whether I am prompting you to reach out in humility or to step back in wisdom. This is the journey I am beginning with you now. Stillness to awakening, awakening to discernment, discernment to courageous action, and action to sustained peace with your identity restored. By the end of this walk together, you will not be left guessing. You will speak or refrain with a clean conscience and a steady heart. I will teach you to send a message that is truthful and peaceable, that honors both love and wisdom. I will guide you so that what you do today becomes seed for tomorrow's freedom. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. Psalm 32:8. Lay down the fantasies of perfect timing, my beloved. The perfection you imagine is a mirage that keeps you thirsty beside a well. The courage I impart does not depend on the weather of their reaction. It rests on the certainty of my presence. I do not call you to perform. I call you to obey. I do not send you to conquer. I send you to be honest. This is not about forcing outcomes. It is about aligning your heart with truth, so that you are no longer ruled by fear, by what-ifs, by the stories you have told yourself to avoid pain. Return to me in this single step. Speak if I say speak. Refrain if I say refrain. Trust that I am protecting what must be protected and exposing what must be healed. Pause. Listen. Remain. Do not mistake my patience for permission to drift. I am patient because I love you, and yet I am urgent because I see where you are headed if you continue to postpone. There are forms of mercy that do not appear gentle on the surface. There are nudges that feel like unrest because they resist the pull of your habits. This is mercy. This is me reaching for you before the door you hope will remain open swings closed without a sound. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Psalm 27:1. Fear not the act of obedience. Fear only the quiet corrosion of delay that convinces you that tenderness can wait. It cannot. So come into the present with me. Let the breath you are taking be your agreement. Whisper if you must, I am willing. From that whisper I will grow clarity. From that willingness I will form words that carry peace and boundaries that carry love. You will not do this alone, my child. You are not lost. You are being awakened. I am near. I am here. And I say to you again, what you keep calling later may be the very moment I am calling today. Receive this next part the same way you began, quietly, within. Let the breath you already carry slow you into awareness. My child, I have never left you. I am nearer than the worry running through your veins. This is not condemnation, nor is it abandonment. I do not speak to instill fear in you, but that you may live. What you are feeling, the soft unrest that keeps returning, the name that will not leave your mind, the thought that rises again when the room grows still. Do not mislabel it as weakness. The quiet alarm inside you is not anxiety, it is guidance. I come to you not with thunder that startles, but like dawn that opens the eyes without injury. Do you see? Learn to name the signals I send so you will not spend another day arguing with them as if they were threats. There is the restlessness without explanation, as if your soul is standing just inside a doorway, waiting to step out. There is incomplete sleep, your body waking before your mind has finished its memories, a tug somewhere deep that does not let you slide back into dreaming. There is the heaviness after scrolling past 100 voices, when the noise fades and what remains is not delight, but a dull ache and a sentence you know you must send. There is the same name returning to your mind uninvited, a person you keep seeing in small ways, in a song, in a place you pass, in the quiet of prayer. There is the way your joy dims when you imagine staying silent one more day, the way relief flickers like a candle whenever you picture speaking with honesty or drawing a clean boundary. These are subtle, but they are not small. They are signals of my spirit. They are the lamp at your feet persuading you toward life. Panic shouts. Guidance persists. Panic accelerates your breath and narrows your vision. Guidance steadies your breath and widens your horizon. Panic demands that you act to escape. guidance invites you to act to align. Panic threatens catastrophe if you do not move this instant. Guidance gives you a present moment large enough to obey without terror. How do you tell the difference? Look at the fruit each produces in you. When you pause and listen, even for a few heartbeats, does peace begin to rise beneath the discomfort like a spring from stone? When you hold the thought in the light, does it simplify what is tangled, asking for honesty without manipulation, for courage without cruelty? Do you see how, when you move toward it even slightly, your spine straightens and your breathing evens? This is how you know. My voice will not flatter your fears or coerce your will. My voice will not collude with the part of you that wants to control outcomes and avoid truth. My voice calls you into light, and light is truthful by nature. It reveals in order to heal. My beloved, the unsettled feeling is evidence of nearness, not failure. That inner resistance to your habit of postponing, this too is mercy. When I place a quiet alarm within you, I am preserving you from dangers you have not yet perceived, and from sorrows that bloom when truth is not spoken. I do not permit you to grow comfortable with what will harm your soul. I would rather disturb your sleep in gentleness than watch you sleepwalk into regret. This is not blind punishment, but a restraining embrace. The Lord disciplines those he loves is not a sentence of doom, but a sentence of belonging. Proverbs 3:12. Hear me. Your unease does not prove you are failing. It proves I am very near. But you must come to the place where such nearness can be recognized. Stillness is the hearing place. I rarely compete with the volume of your distractions, not because I am weak, but because I am training you to value what is true. When you carry your device like a shield against every quiet minute, when you fill every empty space with other people's opinions, you drown the frequency where my counsel resides. Step into a smaller room within yourself. Turn down the volume. Close the extra tabs your mind has opened. Sit long enough for the sediment to settle so that the water clears. In that clearing you will hear not a lecture but a direction, not 1,000 tasks but a single step. As it is written, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. And as it is written again, whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. Do you hear how I come behind you, not to drive you with fear, but to steady you with presence? I do not measure you by speed, but by direction. There are months of elaborate plans that never break a single chain, and there is one obedient step taken today that loosens what has bound you for years. You think you need a perfect script. I ask only for a truthful sentence. You believe you must forecast every possible reaction. I ask you to send what honors love and wisdom and to leave the weather of their response to me. You imagine that strength means not trembling. I tell you that obedience while trembling is strength enough. My child, your future is not secured by your rehearsals. It is secured by your alignment. One step toward the light shifts the path of your life in ways you cannot see from here. So practice the listening that leads to that one step. Ask of the stirring inside you, what are you pointing me toward? If it points you toward confession, humility, and the restoration of peace where it has been frayed, it is likely me. If it invites you to set a boundary that protects what is holy in you, without hatred, it is likely me. If it tells you to control, to punish, to perform, to manipulate, to rewrite truth, to preserve an image, it is not my voice. My guidance will always honor love, without permitting your self-betrayal. It will always guard wisdom without extinguishing compassion. Hold your heart under this light and see what remains. Do not be afraid of the quiet. I am in the quiet. When you stop moving long enough to feel the ache you have avoided, I meet you there not with accusation, but with instruction. I show you how to craft a message that is simple, honest, and clean, or how to step back in peace and let your no be as holy as your yes. I am not late, I am not hesitant, I am precise, and I am kind. You have asked me for signs in the sky, while I have been placing a sign within your chest. Trust me here. Trust that the same tenderness you fear will make you weak is the very tenderness that keeps your heart responsive to me. Return to me in this present breath. Say, even now I am willing to hear, then remain, long enough for the whisper to gather words, long enough for the alarm to become a direction, long enough to sense where the path bends toward reconciliation or where it bends toward boundary. You will not be left alone to guess. I am your light and your salvation. Whom shall you fear? Psalm 27:1. And as it is written and will remain true, when the room grows silent again, whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. Walk in it, my beloved, today. Listen closer now, my beloved, for I am placing my hand over the place where your courage has been lulled to sleep. Delay rarely marches in with defiance. It arrives with a softness that flatters your fatigue and excuses your hesitation. It sits beside you like a friend and whispers, "Later will do." Not now, when you feel stronger, when it will not be awkward, when their mood is better, when your schedule clears. It offers you a pillow instead of a path, a pleasant story instead of a step, and you begin to believe that pausing is protection when, in truth, it is a sedative laid over the voice that is calling you to life. Do you see? This is not condemnation, nor is it abandonment. I speak this way because I love you, because I have watched delay stroke your hair while it steals your hours, and I will not be silent as doors you pray will remain open begin to close without a sound. Delay wears a gentle mask, but beneath it, it is a tutor that trains your heart to live without obedience. Each time you tell the truth to the ceiling and not to the person who needs to hear it, a small layer hardens over the softer parts of your heart. Each time you craft the message in your mind and leave it unsent, the bridge you hope to cross thins. Each time you sense the boundary you must set and you postpone to avoid discomfort, your soul learns a lesson it was not created to learn, that survival depends on compromise with what is untrue, and so living relationships become rooms you no longer enter. They become albums of unsent words and unasked forgiveness, photographs of what could have been marked by the date you chose later. I do not say this to wound you. I am removing the mask so that you can recognize what has been robbing you in a tone so gentle you trusted it. Two pains creep in when you choose silence in the place where I have asked you to be honest. Hear me call them by name so they can no longer hide. Loneliness grows when you postpone honest connection. It grows not because you lack people around you, but because you keep yourself at a distance from the truth that would allow your heart to be seen. You scroll, you smile, you agree to the surface, yet something hollow echoes under your ribs, because the word you were meant to speak is still trapped within you. Regret grows when you postpone honest truth. It grows like moss on a stone, quiet and green, making each step slicker beneath your feet, until one day you realize you were careful where you were once free. Loneliness and regret feed on silence. They are nourished by the meals you serve them whenever you say, "Not now," and push away the plate of obedience I have set before you. My child, I do not desire this diet for you. Understand the hazard clearly. Drift rarely announces itself with collapse. It moves in increments, a postponed call, a boundary delayed until next week, a necessary apology traded for another task. Water dripping upon stone does not crack it in a day, but give it time and the shape changes. paths are carved by what seems inconsequential. So it is with your heart. 1,000 tiny postponements teach you to tolerate what harms you and to forget the freedom that follows truth. The edges of your discernment dull not through one dramatic sin, but through the low-grade hum of distracted unwillingness. You fall asleep to your own life with the lamp still in your hand. This too is why I disturb you in love. I am not loud because I am angry. I am insistent because I see the cliff you will not notice if the road remains this smooth. Do you see how you have been waiting for the perfect moment, and the perfect moment has been waiting for your obedience? You have imagined a time without tremble, a day without risk, a smile on the other side before you speak, a sign that guarantees the story will end as you have outlined it. Meanwhile, the moment I prepared was not a stage of applause, but a quiet rightness within you, a readiness to act with love and with wisdom in the light you have now. You have been asking time to do what only truth can do. The perfect you've demanded is a mirage that moves a step ahead of you each time you reach for it. The enough I provide is presence, clarity, and strength for one obedient action today. I do not measure your worth by your composure, but I do guard your calling by reminding you that obedience is time-sensitive when tenderness is at stake. Hear me as I guard you with words that may sting and then soothe. When you postpone the message of peace I have prompted, loneliness grows, not because you are unloved, but because your fear of being misunderstood has become louder than your desire to be known. When you postpone the boundary I have shown you, regret grows, not because you lack courage, but because you have permitted someone else's pattern to decide the temperature of your home. You do not need to predict their reaction to be faithful. You need only to bring your action under my light. I am not asking you to manufacture harmony. I am asking you to stop feeding the silence that fractures you inside. I see the doors in front of you, the ones that have hinges you cannot hear. Some remain open for a season to allow the seed of truth to be planted, while hearts are still soft. Some begin to close because continued access without honesty would harden everyone involved. When I urge you today, it is because I am aligning you with a window you did not arrange. Opportunities do not shout, they stand for a time and then they move on. You do not need to be afraid of missing me if you stumble toward me. I am a father who draws near when you turn, but I will tell you the truth. When you comfort yourself with delay, you are practicing how to ignore me. I will not bless what teaches you to forget my voice, even if it looks polite. Therefore, choose the small, faithful act while the heart is still tender. Write the sentence that is truthful and clean. Send the message that honors peace without control. Speak the boundary that preserves dignity without contempt. Do not add decoration to make it more acceptable. Do not omit clarity to make it seem kinder. Obedience is not cruelty. It is love refusing to collude with untruth. And remember, I am not distant, watching to see if you will fail. I am within you, strengthening your spine, steadying your breath, giving you words that do not accuse and a no that does not hate. I do not speak to instill fear in you, but that you may live. As it is written, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Hebrews 3:15. Let this sentence be an anchor, not a weight. Your heart hardens when you rehearse what I have already made clear instead of doing it, when you prefer the comfort of planning over the humility of one step. Your heart remains supple when you move, while the tenderness is still present, when you align your action with the light you have, rather than bargaining for a different sky. My beloved, I am not far, I am not late. I have not misread your capacity or misjudged your timing. I am the one who knows what this moment can become if answered. Delay will keep offering you a lullaby. I am offering you a hand. Take it. Obey in this day while it is still called today. and watch doors stay open that would have closed without a sound. Return, act, breathe, then rest in the peace that follows those who do the simple, honest thing I have asked in love. Stay with me in this quiet, my beloved. We have spoken of doors and of the small, faithful act. Now I turn the lamp from the act to the root. Light reveals what you're really afraid the message will expose. This is not condemnation, nor is it abandonment. My child, I have never left you. I do not bring light to embarrass you, but to free you. I do not expose you to harm. I expose what has been harming you. I am not here to accuse. I am here to heal. Do you see? Name it with me. Beneath your hesitation lies a cluster of fears, each softly insisting that silence will keep you safe. There is the fear of rejection. If I speak, will they turn away? There is the fear of looking foolish. If I reach out and stumble, will I lose dignity? There is the fear of being ignored. If I make myself vulnerable, will I be met with silence and feel smaller than before? There is the fear of conflict. If I tell the truth, will peace shatter and chaos return? There is the fear of admitting you were wrong. If I acknowledge my fault, will I lose my footing forever? And there is the fear of hearing the truth back. If I open this door, will I have to face what I did not want to see in myself? These fears do not shout. They dim the room and ask you to live as though the shadows are safer than the dawn. But hear me, what stays unspoken grows in the dark. Assumptions expand without resistance. Bitterness finds a root and drinks from your attention. Narratives harden into laws you impose upon your future, and self-protection forms a shell that keeps out not only pain, but also love. Darkness is the environment where what remains unaddressed is allowed to grow. Light is truthful by nature, it reveals in order to heal. When I bring a beam to the place you avoid, I am not parading your weakness. I am disinfecting a wound before it turns septic. I am not humiliating you. I am teaching your heart to breathe again without the tight grip of control. Let us look fear by fear under this lamp. The fear of rejection tells you that your worth will be measured by their reply. My light answers that your worth was settled before their response existed. The fear of looking foolish tells you that composure equals strength. My light says that humility is the doorway to wisdom, and that trembling obedience is truer courage than polished avoidance. The fear of being ignored whispers that silence will confirm your smallest self. My light teaches you that you are seen by me even when others look away, and that obedience is not nullified by an absent echo. The fear of conflict assures you that peace is merely the absence of disturbance. My light clarifies that peace is the presence of truth with love, and the absence of truth is not peace but delay painted white. The fear of admitting wrong insists that your identity will unravel if you confess. My light assures you that confession is the scaffold upon which integrity is rebuilt. The fear of hearing truth back threatens that if you listen, you will be crushed. My light promises that correction received in love carves room in you for maturity you have prayed for, but did not know how to reach. I do not ask you to wrestle these fears alone. I bring light. I stand with you in the room. When light enters, it changes how you judge the next step. Instead of defending the shape of what you have hidden, you begin to see its contours clearly and release what does not belong. You learn to discern which voice leads you to life. If, as you craft your message, you feel drawn toward peace, humility, and clarity, if the words simplify rather than dramatize, if they confess where needed and refrain from accusation, if they respect both your dignity and the others, this is often my light. If, as you write, you feel pulled into manipulation, revenge, proving, or control, if the lines lean on threats, on grand declarations designed to produce guilt, on strategic silence meant to punish, this is not my spirit. Test the fruit in the quiet. Light produces a steadying within you, even as tears gather. It widens your chest, loosens your jaw, lets you breathe deeper than 1 hour ago. Darkness tightens, narrows, and makes you hungry to win. Light speaks with simple sentences that do not need to be decorated to feel powerful. Darkness piles words as scaffolding to cover fear. Light's motive is reconciliation or protection, not conquest. Darkness wants to pay someone back. Do you see the difference? Pause. Listen. Remain. Bring what you fear into my presence. Say it plainly. I am afraid they will reject me. I am afraid I will look foolish. I am afraid they will ignore me. I am afraid the argument will spiral. I am afraid to admit I was wrong. I am afraid to hear what they need to tell me. Watch what happens when these words come into light. Their size diminishes because they can no longer feed on secrecy. Their grip loosens because they are no longer treated as kings in your inner court. And in the same breath, watch how courage grows. Not a sudden roar, but the steady warmth of dawn moving across a cold field. I am that dawn for you. Understand my intention. I uncover not to shame, but to shepherd. I open what you tucked away not to make you bare before those who would harm you, but to remove what has been harming you from within. When you let light lead, your next step is guided by truth, not by self-protection. And truth, held in love, knows how to reconcile without erasing yourself, and how to set a boundary without building a prison. I am teaching you to recognize that holy middle, love without control, clarity without cruelty. I will not command you to reconcile when reconciliation would return you to bondage. I will not command you to set a boundary where forgiveness would restore life. I will tell you the difference if you will let the light stay on long enough to see it. Begin with what is yours to own. If you have wronged, own it without bargaining. A simple, I was wrong, I am sorry, here is what I will do differently, spoken without attaching blame, is light. If you must protect your heart and your home, state it without venom. A clean, I will not continue in this pattern, here is what I am choosing, is light. Do not use silence to punish or speeches to control. Do not attach conditions designed to make them perform. Let your message be truthful and peaceable. Let your no be light's no, and your yes be light's yes. As it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. Let that lamp fall exactly where you stand, not 5 miles ahead where your worry likes to wander, not in yesterday where regret wants to keep you, but at your feet, at this sentence, at this boundary, at this act of obedience. I do not measure you by speed, but by direction. One step in the light is enough to change the course you are on. My child, lift your face. The light that reveals also warms. The truth that uncovers also covers you with grace. I will not leave you exposed on the path. I walk with you as you send what is clean, or as you keep what is wise to yourself, and step back in peace. Take my hand. Let the light lead. And when you act, let it be because truth has guided you, not fear, so that what grows next is freedom. My child, remain with me in this light as the path before you becomes two. I will not leave you to guess at the fork. Some of you I am softening to reach out in humility. Others of you I am strengthening to step back in wisdom. Both are obedience when guided by me. This is not condemnation, nor is it abandonment. I do not speak to instill fear in you, but that you may live. I come not with thunder to force your choice, but like the first light of dawn to show you where life is. Do you see? The same God who tells you to forgive is the God who tells you to be wise. As it is written, be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. Matthew 10:16. Innocence keeps your heart clean. Wisdom keeps your life from snares. Hear me name the two roads. There is the road of reaching out in humility. It is paved with honesty, confession where needed, and a peaceable message that does not control, accuse, or perform. It seeks truth with love, not victory with cleverness. It does not erase consequences. It does not pretend that trust is instant. It does not return you to what harms you. Reconciliation is not amnesia. It is alignment, your heart brought into agreement with truth and love in a way that opens the possibility of restoration. It may be one sentence after months of silence. It may be a small bridge built out of an apology and a commitment to new behavior. It is not a demand that the other person meet you where you hope. It is an obedient step that makes room for what I may choose to rebuild in time. As it is written, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. Romans 12:18. Your part is peace without pretense. There is also the road of stepping back in wisdom. It is marked by clarity and mercy, not contempt. A boundary is not punishment. It is a restraining embrace that protects what is holy in you from patterns that would consume it. A boundary is not bitterness. It is clean language that refuses to participate in what breaks your soul. A boundary is not pride. It is humility about limits and acknowledgement that you are not the savior and that enabling is not love. Boundaries can carry love while removing access to repeat harm. They can say, I will not continue in this pattern. Here is what I am choosing, without venom, without theater, without threat. As it is written, above all else, guard your heart. Proverbs 4:23. Guarding is not hiding. It is stewarding the wellspring from which your life flows. How will you know which road I am inviting you to walk today? Look for the fruit, not the flare of emotion. When you hold the action in the light, does it move you toward peace, truth, sobriety, and freedom? Or does it reopen chaos, danger, and bondage? When you imagine reaching out, do you sense a steadying within you, the breath lengthening, the jaw loosening, the posture straightening, as humility and hope rise together? Or do you feel yourself rehearsing ways to prove, to punish, to win, to earn a reply that validates you? If it is the former, reconciliation may be the path. If it is the latter, it is not my spirit. And when you picture stepping back, do you feel small, mean, and secretly pleased to hurt them back? That is not wisdom. That is resentment wearing a robe. But if, when you picture a boundary, you feel a sober relief, a return to clarity, the removal of a hook from your chest, the ability to pray for them without collapsing into the previous cycle, wisdom may be your obedience today. My guidance will not invite you to lie about what has happened. It will not push you into danger to prove your faith. It will not coach you to manipulate outcomes. My guidance produces truth with love, restraint with courage, mercy with strength. Understand this about reconciliation. It is not a hallway without doors. It makes room for consequences to stand where they must. Trust rebuilt is not a switch. It is scaffolding raised by consistent fruit over time. You do not reconcile by pretending that a wound is healed when it is still open. You reconcile by treating the wound in the light. Sometimes the message of peace is, I was wrong, I am sorry, here is what I will do differently, and then you practice that difference, even if their response is slow. Sometimes the message of peace is, I forgive you, and for now I will speak only about logistics, not intimacy, until safety is established. Do you see? Peace and boundaries are not enemies. They are companions when truth leads. And understand this about boundaries. They are merciful when they protect both parties from sin's repetition. I will not ask you to open the gate to a wolf to prove you believe in miracles. I am the shepherd who also closes pens. There are times when stepping back is the only way to keep love from becoming self-betrayal. There are times when distance is the necessary climate, for repentance to germinate. There are times when silence is not punishment, but space, not a slammed door, but a locked cabinet where you store what is precious until the house is safe again. As it is written, the prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. Proverbs 27:12. This is not fear ruling you. This is wisdom guiding you. Let me give you a simple grid without turning your heart into a checklist. Ask, does this action require me to deny the truth of what has happened? If yes, it is not reconciliation, it is denial. Ask, does this boundary tempt me to relish their discomfort? If yes, it is not holy protection, it is revenge. Ask, does reaching out today expose me to active harm I have ignored? If yes, I am likely calling you first to wisdom, to counsel, to safety. Ask, does stepping back today make it easier for me to hide from a confession I owe? If yes, you are using a boundary to avoid humility, not to guard your heart. Ask, will this action, when done in my presence, make you more available to love and to truth in the days ahead? If yes, you are near my path. Do not be surprised that I might protect different things in different moments. At times I am protecting a bond that can still be healed, if humility meets humility while the heart is soft. At times I am protecting your mind from the erosion that comes from repeated harm. At times I am protecting your home, your children, your calling. At times I am protecting your capacity to hear me by removing you from a pattern that drowns my voice. The same Father who sends you with a note of peace also places a gate around your soul. The same light that opens a door also draws a line where darkness must not cross. I do not measure you by speed, but by direction. One clean yes to reconciliation, spoken in truth, can redirect a story. One clean no to bondage, spoken in love, can restore your sanity. My beloved, stand in the stillness long enough for the difference to become simple, innocent as a dove. Let your motive be pure, love without control, clarity without cruelty. Wise as a serpent, see the snares, refuse them, take the path that keeps your steps from being caught. Draft the message in the light. Read it once with me. Remove the sentence that explains to them who they are. Add the sentence that owns who you are choosing to be. If you are reaching out, make room for their dignity by not scripting their response. If you are stepping back, make room for their humanity by not cursing their name. As it is written, let your yes be yes and your no, no. Matthew 5:37. Simple, clean, true. I am not late, and I am not unclear. When you ask me for wisdom, I give it generously without finding fault. As it is written, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, and it will be given to him. James 1:5. Ask now. Say, show me the road you are protecting. If it is the bridge of humility, I will steady your steps. If it is the gate of wisdom, I will strengthen your hand on the latch. I will not leave you guessing at the mercy I am working. Walk with me. Choose the obedient act that leads to peace, whether that peace is found in reconciliation's first sentence or in boundaries' clear line. Then keep walking in the same light that showed you the way. My child, listen as I set a story like a mirror before you, not to shame you, but to help you recognize the weather pattern in your soul. Jonah was not shaking a fist at heaven. He was running with his feet. I sent him with a message, and he chose a ship. He did not curse my name. He purchased a ticket in the opposite direction. He went down to Joppa, down into the boat, down into sleep, and the wind rose. A storm gathered, not to destroy him, but to redirect him. Do you see? This is not condemnation, nor is it abandonment. I am showing you that sometimes the unrest you feel is my mercy preventing you from traveling farther away from what is right. When you run from a conversation I have asked you to have, when you avoid the sentence I have placed upon your heart, the waters do not calm because your map looks tidy. The sea inside you begins to heave. Confusion increases. Little things become complicated. Simple joys feel dim. Your patience thins in rooms that once felt safe. Relational strain shows up in places you did not expect, because your spirit knows you are off course, and it will not let you be fully comfortable on a ship I did not send you to board. Inner heaviness settles on your chest in the morning without a clear reason. Sleep becomes crowded. The day feels a half step to the left of peace. You call it anxiety and scold yourself for being weak, but I tell you the truth in love. It is often guidance. It is the quiet storm of my mercy turning the prow while there is still time to turn. I did not send the wind to crush Jonah. I sent it so he would not get comfortable on the run. I do the same for you because I love you. As it is written, those the Lord loves he disciplines. Proverbs 3:12. Discipline is not humiliation. It is a restraining embrace. There are forms of mercy that do not appear gentle on the surface. A conversation you dread grows heavier in your conscience. Doors you keep asking me to open feel stuck because I am guarding you from entering them with a lie between your teeth. The calendar crowds, the signals get crossed. The travel toward Tarshish costs you more than the fare you paid. I am not punishing you for missing one moment. I am arresting the drift that would turn a tender heart into a practiced runaway. Consider the quiet details I placed in the story. Jonah paid for the ticket, and then he slept through the storm. You too are tempted to buy distraction, busyness that feels like responsibility, entertainment that numbs without delight, rationalizing that sounds mature but avoids truth, silence that dresses like peace but is only fear in formal clothes, and then you try to sleep through the unease. But the sailors feel what you pretend not to feel. Your relationships, your work, even your body begin to sense the turbulence that your mouth will not admit. Do you see the mercy? I am allowing the weather to report your direction before the reefs do. Hear me call you with kindness. Where have you been sailing to avoid obedience? Is it into the harbor of busyness, collecting tasks so you never have to pick up the single message I asked you to send? Is it into the bright carnival of entertainment, where noise can keep you from the sentence that would set you free? Is it into the courtroom of rationalizing, where you defend your delay and gather witnesses for your clever reasons while your soul grows thin? Is it into the cloister of silence, convincing yourself that time will heal what only truth in love can tend? Bring it into the light. Name the port. I do not expose you to harm. I expose what has been harming you. When the sailors cried out and tossed cargo to lighten the ship, I was illustrating something for you, too. You keep throwing overboard the very things I gave you to carry. Your joy, your laughter, your willingness to be present, trying to stay afloat on a course I did not ordain. You are not meant to sacrifice your peace to keep a flight from obedience alive. Stop tossing your treasure to support a run. The cost will never balance. The wind will not agree to your terms. I do not speak to instill fear in you, but that you may live. When you feel the storm, do not hide deeper in the hull of distraction. Come up to the deck with me. Tell the truth. The sailors asked Jonah who he was, where he came from, and what he had done. I ask you gently, my beloved, who are you? You are mine. Where have you come from? From my presence. What have you done? You have run from a small obedience that feels larger than you want to admit. This is not the end of your story. This is the place where honesty allows the wind to become your ally instead of your adversary. You fear that if you face this, you will be swallowed by consequences. Hear me, even the great fish was mercy. It was shelter in a sea that could have taken him under. It was a pause, a holding place, a strange sanctuary designed to spit him back onto the path of life. When I close other options and hold you in a place that feels tight, I am not burying you. I am transporting you. I am not condemning you. I am protecting your calling from your avoidance. 3 days of prayer reoriented Jonah more surely than 3 decades of running would have. Do not despise the confinements that come when you refuse to press send. Let them teach you how deeply you want freedom. Return now to what you already know. The message I asked you to deliver, the boundary I asked you to set, these are not storms, they are the port. The storm serves to turn you toward them. When you obey, the weather changes, not because you control outcomes, but because you have aligned with me. The deck steadies under your feet. The inner heaviness loosens. Confusion lifts like mist in morning light. You may tremble as you type, you may cry as you speak, but the truth inside you will exhale. I do not measure you by speed, but by direction. One turn, one sentence, one clean act of love or wisdom, and the currents that were against you begin to carry you toward peace. Do not mistake my firmness for distance. My child, I have never left you. I am the voice in the belly of the fish. I am the calm after the wind. I am the hand that reaches you, not with thunder to shame you, but like the first light of dawn to show you where life is. The unrest was not wrath, it was restraint. The turbulence was not rejection, it was redirection. Let your heart stop fighting the wind and start reading it. Let your feet change ships. So, where will you go now? Back to Joppa to buy another ticket, or forward to Nineveh with a simple, honest word? Pause. Listen. Remain long enough to hear what I am asking you to send, or to see the boundary I am asking you to hold. Then act while your heart is still tender. Sometimes the unrest you feel is my mercy preventing you from traveling farther away from what is right. Answer mercy with obedience, and watch how quickly the sea learns your new name. Peace. My child, remain with me in this light while I speak to you with sober tenderness. I am not here to frighten you. I am here to awaken you. I do not come with thunder to press you into panic, but like the first light of dawn to show you how time and tenderness belong together. There are seasons when your heart is soft, when humility is near your lips, when an apology can still land in living soil, when a boundary can still be set without your voice shaking into anger. Those seasons are gifts. They do not last forever. Hear a quiet warning drawn from a story you know, but do not always let settle inside you. 10 waited for the bridegroom. All were invited. All had lamps, but only some carried oil enough for delay. The others brought lamps without supply, light without what it needs to endure the night. And when the cry went out at midnight, "Arise, go out to meet him," the scrambling began. Lamps were lifted, wicks were trimmed, bargains were begged, but the door did not wait for second-guessing. It closed quietly, finally, without malice and without noise. Do you see? The door shutting was not drama, it was consequence. It was not rage, it was reality meeting unreadiness. I tell you this not to shame you, but to rescue you from a habit that steals from you gently. Delay always looks harmless because it is soft. It whispers, "Later will do." Your heart will still be this open tomorrow. The words will still be this simple next week. But some doors do not make a sound as they close. Some windows of tenderness narrow with each postponed sentence. Not because I become harsh, but because hearts, yours and theirs, are living things, responsive to time, to weather, to pressure, to tears. What if the door that closes is not theirs, but yours? What if the tenderness you feel now is the oil and delay is the leak? Pause and consider where the oil is in your life today. Oil can be the softness in your chest that makes confession possible without defensiveness. Oil can be the steady courage in your spine that allows you to draw a clean boundary without venom. Oil can be the patient clarity that chooses simple words over complicated strategies. I was wrong. I am sorry. or I will not continue in this pattern. Here is what I am choosing. Oil is readiness, the felt alignment between what I am asking and your willingness to move. It is the Spirit's quiet surplus inside you. If you wait until your feelings are perfect, you will wait past the moment when the lamp burns brightest. If you stall until outcomes are guaranteed, you will teach your heart to live without obedience. Do you see the pattern? You do not have to be wicked to miss your moment. You only have to be unready. You do not have to be rebellious to lose a window. You only have to prefer comfort to watchfulness. I am not rushing you into chaos. I am keeping you from sleeping through your assignment. The midnight cry in the parable was mercy, a final, clear summons in the dark. My promptings in you are the same, a sentence rising unbidden, a peace that attends a particular action, an unease that grows when you avoid it. These are not condemnations. They are invitations. I have never left you. I am not asking you to earn my affection by moving quickly. I am teaching you to protect the tenderness I have already given you by moving faithfully. There are conversations that can only be held while your heart is still pliable. There are boundaries that can only be drawn cleanly before frustration becomes rage. There are reconciliations that must be offered while humility still tastes like water instead of like a bitter pill. You pray for wisdom and I give it. You feel the simple sentence arrive in your mouth like bread. You sense that today the soil is soft. Then delay says, tomorrow, not now. When tomorrow arrives, you find the words harder, the soil colder, the lamp lower, and you say, see, it was not meant to be. My child, listen, it was meant to be yesterday. What then does readiness look like in you? It is not frenzy. It is not a flood of paragraphs designed to force a reply. Readiness is simple, awake, uncluttered, and near to peace. It trims the wick, removes the sentence that manipulates, keeps the one that confesses or clarifies. It checks the oil, asks me, is my motive love without control? Is my boundary clarity without cruelty? And it moves without theatrics. The wise did not argue at the threshold. They had tended their lamps in the quiet hours before the cry. Tend yours now. Draft the message while your chest is warm and your jaw is loose. Name the boundary while your mind is clear and your heart is kind. Do not wait for the perfect mood. Wait for the honest motive, and when it is present, act. You ask, what if I miss it? Hear me gently. I do not delight in closed doors. I delight in children who stay awake. If a door closes, I will shepherd you to the next faithful step. But I will not lie and say that every door reopens the same way. Some opportunities return differently, later, with more work and less ease, because the oil is not the same. That is why I speak now. Not to threaten you, but to spare you regret. Not to make you anxious, but to anchor you before the tide turns. Watch with me. Keep your lamp near my breath. And consider again the unasked question. What if the door that closes is not theirs, but yours? What if delay hardens in you the very place I aim to heal? What if postponing the apology teaches your tongue to dress truth in diplomacy until it cannot speak simply? What if deferring the boundary trains your hands to hold chains politely? You pray for freedom. I offer you a key in the form of a small, timely act. Take it while you are still willing to turn it. This is not condemnation, nor is it abandonment. My beloved, I am near. I know the hour you are in, and I know the weight of your hesitation. I am not measuring you by speed, but by direction. Yet there are moments when the direction must be chosen before the softness passes. Reach now for the obedience that is before you. Send what is clean. Speak what is true. Draw what is merciful. Then rest. I will keep you while the night passes and the morning comes. As it is written, therefore keep watch, because you do not know the day or the hour. Matthew 25:13. Keep watch over your lamp. over your tenderness, over your readiness. Keep watch, not with fear, but with love. Keep watch and act while your heart is still soft and willing. My child, draw closer and listen to the sound beneath your fear. I am not far, I am not hiding. I want you to receive this in the stillness within your own heart. The water you are afraid to step upon is not your enemy. The wind that rises in your chest is not your ruler. What steadies you is not the quiet of the sea, but the direction of your gaze. As it is written, take courage, it is I, don't be afraid. Matthew 14:27. I do not come to taunt you with what you have not yet done. I come like the first light of dawn to show you how to do the next right thing with your eyes on me. Hear again the story you know. Night, a boat in the middle of contrary waves, tired men pressed by wind and distance. I came to them walking on what threatened to drown them, and fear mistook me for a ghost. Courage does not begin where storms end. Courage begins where I am recognized. Peter answered with a trembling hunger, Lord, if it is you, tell me to come. I said, come. He put his weight on a word, not on water. He climbed over the familiar safety of the boat, over explanations, over the calculations of fishermen and the mathematics of waves, and his feet found miracle because his eyes found me. As long as his attention was held by my face, what once defined impossible became steady ground. Then he measured the wind. He did not sink because the sea changed. He sank because his focus did. He began to predict outcomes by the size of the gust instead of by the nearness of my hand. He ran numbers in his mind. Height of waves, strength of his legs, distance left to cover, and the arithmetic of fear pulled him downward. Yet even as he sank, he cried out to me, and immediately I reached for him. Do you see? I am not only the one who calls you out. I am the one who catches you when your attention fractures. Why did you doubt? Was not a scolding to shame him back into the boat. It was an invitation to remember what holds you up. Doubt measured the storm. Faith was the memory of my presence. Apply this with tenderness to what I am asking you to send. You have been rehearsing the wind. You have been forecasting their reaction, constructing dialogues in your head, predicting silences, planning for every edge case, bargaining with fear until the night becomes your counsel. You are not responsible for their reaction. You are responsible for your obedience and for love in truth. Your step is not secured by how they will respond tomorrow, but by the one who stands with you today. As it is written, you will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are stayed on you. Isaiah 26:3. Fix your mind, stay it, not on ripples of possibility, but on the face that called you. My beloved, when you feel the spiral begin, when the breath shortens, the chest tightens, the what-ifs gather like dark birds, do not negotiate with fear for hours. Pause, breathe, let your shoulders drop. Whisper, Jesus, hold me steady. I fix my eyes on you. Pray a sentence, not an essay. Then move. Draft the clean message while your heart is soft. Remove the line that explains them. Keep the line that owns you. If reconciliation is your obedience, let it be this simple. I was wrong. I am sorry. Here is what I will do differently. If a boundary is your obedience, let it be this clear. I will not continue in this pattern. For my well-being, here is how I will engage going forward. Love without control, clarity without cruelty. Then send, not because outcomes are guaranteed, but because your gaze is set. I do not ask you to prove your faith by stepping into harm. I am the shepherd who calls you and the shepherd who guards you. Hear me plainly. If the path I am giving you leads back into active danger, that is not faith. That is presumption. Wisdom is not fear, it is sight. If I am calling you to set a boundary, I will steady your hand on the latch and surround you with counsel. If I am calling you to reach out, I will steady your heart as you speak. Either way, the water does not become less water, the wind does not become less wind. Your stability comes from focusing on me, not on predicting how they will respond. As it is written, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. Know me and move. You tell yourself you must wait until the wind dies. But Peter's miracle was not after the storm, it was in it. You tell yourself you must acquire certainty before you take the step. But certainty about outcomes is not the anchor I give. I give presence. You say, "I will send when I am no longer afraid." I say, "Take my hand while it trembles." Fear will not negotiate honestly with you. It will only postpone you into regret. Faith does not silence every sensation. It chooses its reference point. Look at me. Let my voice be the horizon in your eye and the weight beneath your feet. If you falter as you type, if you find yourself measuring the wind again, do what Peter did. Cry out, "I will meet you with immediacy, not with lectures. I have never left you." This is not condemnation, nor is it abandonment. When you sink, I do not add water, I extend a hand. When you doubt, I do not despise you, I steady you. I do not measure you by speed, but by direction. A half step with your eyes on me is more precious than a sprint fueled by the need to control a reply. And hear this comfort. The boat will still be there, but it will not hold you like before, for you are learning a new way to stand. Some will not understand your obedience. They will watch, calculate, and wait to see if you sink. Their watching is not your master. The wind is not your judge. The water is not your verdict. My word is your ground. My love is your air. My hand is your rescue. As it is written, fix your eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher of your faith. Hebrews 12:2. I began this work in you. I will not abandon it mid-wave. So, my child, return your gaze to me. Breathe once, pray once, write once. Send what is clean if I have asked you to send it. Hold what is wise if I have asked you to hold it. Do not sit with fear and draft treaties you never plan to sign. Do not ask the wind for permission to walk. Look up. Meet my eyes, take courage. It is I. Do not be afraid. Then move in the direction of life, and let peace, like a hand at the small of your back, guide you forward as the waters obey the one you are watching. My child, remain in this stillness with me a moment longer. You have turned your gaze from the wind to my face. Now let your hands move in the same light. Discernment has shown you the road. I will show you how to take one clean step upon it, not a perfect speech, not a performance aimed at managing outcomes, but a faithful sentence that honors both love and wisdom. I do not ask for eloquence, I ask for truth. I do not ask for control, I ask for clarity. Right in the light. Begin here. Let your motive be simple. Ask me, is this love without control? Is this clarity without cruelty? Stay with that question until peace answers you. Do not write at midnight fury, write in morning light. Do not compose to provoke guilt or to harvest reassurance. Compose to tell the truth and to keep your heart tender. As it is written, let your yes be yes and your no, no. Matthew 5:37. True words do not need scaffolds of flattery or spikes of shame. They stand with a quiet strength of their own. I will make this plain for you because I love you. What you remove matters as much as what you include. Remove hidden accusations, sentences that smuggle blame beneath polite phrasing. Remove tests, phrases that force them to prove love on a timeline you have set. Remove baiting for reassurance, long paragraphs designed to pull a specific response rather than to share a true one. Remove preemptive defenses, legal briefs, scorekeeping, and subtle threats. Take out the extra adjectives that sharpen resentment and the diluted apologies that say, "I'm sorry you felt hurt," when what you mean is, "I hurt you." Do not add a final barb to feel safer. Do not ask questions you do not want answered simply to keep the thread alive. Write cleanly and let peace be your punctuation. And now, what you include. 1 sentence of humility, 1 sentence of clarity, 1 sentence of next step. Keep the center of gravity in your own responsibility, not in predicting theirs. Invite conversation, but do not beg for it. Offer a door, not a net. Then, when the words are clean, send them while your heart is still warm. Do not rehearse the wind after you have found your footing. If your obedience is apology, write it like this: brief, heart-centered, and true. Humility: I was wrong to name the action simply. I am sorry for the hurt I caused. Clarity: I take responsibility for one specific thing. I will not minimize it. Next step: will you forgive me? I am committed to one specific change. Do you see the light in those lines? No defensiveness, no weather reports about your difficult week. No, but you also, no footnote to protect your image. Confession is strongest when it stands alone. As it is written, he who conceals his sins does not prosper, but whoever confesses and forsakes them finds mercy. Proverbs 28:13. Mercy meets the plain truth more readily than it meets the decorated truth. If your obedience is reconciliation, let it sound like a hand extended, not a rope to pull them your way. Humility: I recognize the distance between us, and I am sorry for my part in it. Clarity: I miss peace between us and desire understanding, not argument. Next step: are you open to a short conversation this week? I want to listen. Leave room for them to breathe. Do not stack times, locations, and backup plans in a single message as if you can engineer a meeting by options. Love offers, it does not corner. Wisdom keeps sentences short enough for hearts to approach without armor. If your obedience is truth in love, let the light speak without exaggeration. Humility: I care about you and I want to be honest. Clarity: when specific event happened, I felt, name one feeling, and it hurt me. Next step: can we talk about how to move forward in a healthier way? Avoid the trap of cataloging every offense to justify one truth. That list is a fortress, not a bridge. One clean instance, owned feelings, and a desire for health. This is how light walks into a room. As it is written, speaking the truth in love, we will grow. Ephesians 4:15. Growth does not come by winning, it comes by truth carried by love. If your obedience is a boundary, let it carry mercy, not malice. Humility: I care about you and about my own well-being. Clarity: I can't continue in this pattern of name the pattern because it harms me. Next step: going forward, I will state the boundary, and I'm available to reconnect when state the condition that reflects health. Do not apologize for protecting what I have entrusted to you. Boundary is not abandonment, it is stewardship. Say less than your fear demands, more than your shame permits, and exactly as much as wisdom requires. As it is written, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. Guarding is not aggression, it is care. I will also show you the small edits that turn shadow into light. Replace "if you really cared" with "I care about this relationship and want to be honest." Replace "you always / never" with "when this happened, I felt." Replace "I guess I'm the problem, sorry" with "I was wrong to, I'm sorry." Replace "prove it by replying today" with "if you're open, I'm available to talk." Replace "maybe it's just me being sensitive" with "this mattered to me." Do you feel the shift? Light refuses both the club and the cloak. It neither punishes nor hides. It names what is true so that healing can find a path. When you have drafted the message, pause with me again. Read it aloud in a whisper. Listen for strain, the subtle tightness, that signals control. Ask, where am I angling? Where am I performing? Remove the angle, drop the performance. Keep the pulse of truth and peace. If tears come, let them rinse the words. They are not weakness, they are water on the soil of humility. And then send it in the light. Not at 2 a.m. from a bruised heart, not after 3 hours of editing to finesse a guarantee, not as a screenshot to a friend to collect a chorus of approvals. Send from stillness, send with your eyes on me. Once you press send, refuse the old patterns that lunge for control. Do not check the screen every minute. Do not draft follow-ups to manage silence. Do not open side doors of communication to provoke a reply. Your obedience is complete in the sending. Your next obedience is to remain in peace. You ask, what if they do not respond? My beloved, you are not sending a lever, you are offering light. Some seeds sprout quickly, some in time, some not here, not now. Your integrity is not measured by their immediate reply. I see the line you cast into the waters of truth. I am Lord of the currents. As it is written, commit your way to the Lord, trust also in him, and he will act. Psalm 37:5. Let me act where you cannot. You ask, what if they accuse me even when I apologize? Then let your humility stand and speak only once more to clarify, not to debate. Do not return to the courtroom when I have called you to the chapel. If peace depends on twisting your words into shapes that violate your conscience, step back into the boundary I gave you. I did not ask you to return to bondage to prove you are kind. Kindness without truth is not my fruit. You ask, how do I know I am not manipulating? Here are the signs. Manipulation adds length to create pressure, adds flattery to soften an edge it refuses to own, adds predictions to frighten someone toward your preferred decision. Light is short, owns its part, asks without demand, and is content to let time be time. If your message can breathe, if it could be read without panic, if it would still be faithful even without a reply, you have likely written in the light. I do not measure you by speed but by direction, yet when you know the direction, take the step before the oil cools. Draft the sentence while tenderness is near. Send it while peace is still warm in your hands. This is not condemnation, nor is it abandonment. It is the shepherd teaching a child to walk on level ground. I have never left you. I am here as you type, here as you send, here as you release the outcome to me. Remember the seal I give you for this moment. As it is written, let your yes be yes and your no, no. Matthew 5:37. Let honesty be the flavor of your love. Let precision be the kindness of your boundary. Let simplicity be the bravery of your reconciliation. And when it is sent, breathe. Return to stillness. Watch, therefore, not the screen, but your heart. Keep it in the light. My child, listen to me with the same stillness that steadied your hands a moment ago. Some of you fear that stepping back is unloving, that saying no is a betrayal of the tenderness I have formed in you. Hear me gently and clearly. A boundary can be obedience. Restraint can be love when it prevents repeated harm. I do not ask you to return to what injures you to prove that you are kind. I am your father, not your taskmaster. I am teaching you to love without losing yourself, to guard what I entrusted to you without closing your heart, to step back without bitterness because wisdom is guiding you. There are signs I have been showing you, and I bring them into the light so you do not keep explaining them away. Repeated disrespect that wears your name down to a nickname you do not recognize. Manipulation that greases its words with flattery, while steering your steps away from what you know is right. Cycles of apology without change. Grand gestures followed by the same injury returning like a tide. Spiritual compromise where your convictions are negotiated in the dark so peace can be performed in the light. the loss of peace that once guarded you like a gentle fence, the quiet dread when you see their name on your screen, a tightening in your chest not because love demands courage, but because coercion has become the cost of connection. Do you see? These are not inconveniences to be endured endlessly. They are indicators that the boundary you resist is the mercy I am offering. I want you to hear the contrasts that will free you. A boundary is not revenge, it is wisdom. A boundary is not bitterness, it is sobriety. A boundary is not you closing your heart. It is you guarding what I have entrusted to you so that love does not become self-betrayal. A boundary is not punishment. It is clarity about where health lives and where harm begins. You are not unloving because you stop providing the conditions for sin to repeat in comfort. Love does not lie to keep the room calm. Love does not keep you in a room where the cost of belonging is the erosion of your soul. As it is written, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. Guarding your heart is not the end of love. It is the environment in which love can be true. This is how a boundary sounds when it is carried by light, firm, gentle, and clear about consequence and time. I care about you and I am choosing health, because name the pattern simply. I will not continue in this dynamic. For the next, set a time frame, 30 days, 3 months. I will limit our contact to the safe channel, email, scheduled calls, a public setting. If the conversation becomes disrespectful, I will end it. If there is sustained change over time, name what real change looks like. Counseling attended, accountability kept, consistent behavior. I am open to revisiting how we relate. Until then, I will not engage in specific behavior. Do you hear the light? No rage, no scorn, no bargaining, only clarity and consequence housed in mercy. Sometimes the boundary must be even simpler. I will not discuss this while voices are raised. If that happens, I will leave and we can try again in 2 days. Or, I cannot loan money again. My answer is no. Or, I will only meet in the presence of a counselor. If that is not acceptable, I will step back. Love names the limits so that dignity is preserved. Truth names the conditions so that chaos is not mistaken for care. As it is written, God is not a God of confusion but of peace. 1 Corinthians 14:33. Peace requires order. Order requires lines you will keep even when feelings surge. Hear me with added weight if harm is present. If there is coercion, threats, or patterns that endanger your body or soul, this is not a debate. It is an exit. Create distance, seek help. Tell the truth to safe people who can act wisely on your behalf. Trusted friends, counselors, spiritual leaders, and appropriate authorities. You are not dramatizing. You are stewarding your life. I am not asking you to be brave inside a burning room. I am leading you to the door, and I will walk with you through it. This is not condemnation, nor is it abandonment. It is my restraining embrace that refuses to let you be swallowed by what pretends to be love but behaves like bondage. You ask, but will a boundary make me hard? My beloved, boundaries hardened by fear become walls. Boundaries set in the light become gates. They open and close at wisdom's touch, not at panic's demand. Your boundary is not a verdict on another's worth. It is a commitment to engage only where truth can breathe. Keep your heart tender toward me and honest toward them. Pray blessing without offering yourself as a sacrifice to a pattern that refuses transformation. Do you understand? You can hold compassion and keep your distance. You can forgive and still say, no more. You can love and not lie down under the weight of what is not changing. You tell me I am afraid they will call me selfish. Then let me be your name. I call you mine. I call you free. I call you wise. Selfishness hoards. Wisdom stewards. Selfishness refuses to give. Wisdom refuses to participate in harm. Selfishness abandons. Wisdom acknowledges limits and entrusts outcomes to me. As it is written, cast your burdens on the Lord, and he will sustain you. Psalm 55:22. Let me hold what you cannot fix. When you state a boundary, expect your old reflex to reach for control, explaining, appeasing, adding softeners until the line blurs. Resist that. Speak once, cleanly. If they argue with your peace, repeat the line without venom. I hear you. My boundary remains. If accusations come, do not enter the courtroom. Return to the chapel. If tears come, do not turn them into a contract. If promises come, do not reward them with premature access. Look for fruit, not flash. Consistency over time, not remorse on demand. Time frames protect you from the pressure to declare victory after a week. Consequences protect you from becoming complicit in your own undoing. And when you step back, do not confuse the silence with failure. Often the absence of chaos feels strange when chaos has been your weather. Stay, breathe, let peace feel new without suspecting it. If you are tempted to re-enter to soothe their discomfort, remember, you are not the savior of their feelings. You are responsible for your obedience. I am Lord of their heart. I am Lord of the currents you cannot see. I have never left you. I will not leave you now. My child, let it be settled between us. You can love without returning to bondage. You can be merciful without being mastered. You can be generous without being erased. I am the one who sets prisoners free, and I begin with the inward chains that taught you to confuse compliance with love. Stand with me in the light you have received. Say the line. Keep the line. Pray, bless, and entrust. Then remain in the peace that follows obedience, for that peace is not the absence of care. It is the presence of order under my hand. As it is written, God is not a God of confusion, but of peace. 1 Corinthians 14:33. Let that peace be the border of your life, the fence love builds so that truth can grow tall within you. My child, remain with me now in the quiet that follows faithful action. The moment after you press send, or after you speak the boundary with a steady voice, is as holy as the moment before. Waiting has a way of squeezing old reflexes to the surface, reflexes that once protected you, then ruled you, and now seek to reclaim you. I am here to keep you in the peace you entered when you obeyed. This is not condemnation, nor is it abandonment. I am not testing you to see if you will fail. I am teaching you to walk in a new rhythm, where obedience is the act and peace is the posture that keeps it true. You know the patterns that rise like familiar winds, the hand that keeps reaching for the phone, the eyes that scan for the 3 dots, the mind that rereads the message for flaws you already surrendered, the tongue that rehearses counterarguments in imaginary rooms, the urge to send one more clarification, the sudden fear that honesty was a mistake, the temptation to interpret silence as rejection and delayed response as verdict. These are chains you once called comfort because they let you feel in control. But control was the master that kept you weary. Do you see? The old courtroom opens its doors as soon as you leave the chapel. You are not summoned to return. Hear me plainly. After you obey, your next obedience is to stay in peace and refuse the urge to regain control. Return to the stillness where I spoke to you. Keep your gaze where you placed your step. Place the device face down. Read the message only once to confirm it is sent, then step away. Breathe in the air of freedom that does not need to manage another person's timeline or emotion. Drink water, go for a walk, whisper, I cast this care on you. As it is written, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. Care is not absence. My care is present, active, vigilant. Let me hold what your hands cannot shape without breaking. When you want to explain again, return to me. When you want to panic because minutes feel like hours, return to me. When you want to take the message back, revise your truth, sweeten your boundary with compromise that betrays you, return to me. When you want to read their silence as prophecy, return to me. When you want to beg for quick relief, return to me. When you want to open side doors of contact to provoke a reply, return to me. Let this be your pattern, stronger than all former patterns. Return to me. I tell you this with tenderness. Seeds do not sprout because you dig them up every hour to check their progress. Roots require darkness that is not threat, time that is not neglect, and trust that looks like quiet. When you re-enter the thread to force an outcome, you do not water the seed, you bruise it. When you redraw a boundary 3 times in 2 days to soothe your anxiety, you do not strengthen it, you carve it into a maze no one can walk. Obedience is a clean line, sent once, held steady, guarded by peace. As it is written, in quietness and trust shall be your strength. Isaiah 30:15. Quietness is not passivity, it is power restrained to align with wisdom. Reframe what follows. Reconciliation may take time because hearts are living things, and living things do not pivot on command. A boundary may bring temporary loneliness because you are unhooking your worth from familiar approvals and reorganizing your life around truth. This discomfort is not punishment. It is the soreness of muscles learning to carry freedom. I am shaping in you a maturity that does not need to be agreed with to remain true, a freedom that does not ask permission from fear before it acts. As it is written, you will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are stayed on you. Isaiah 26:3. Keep your mind here. Stay it again and again when old winds blow. If accusations arise in your thoughts, you were too harsh, too soft, too late, too soon. Do not negotiate with every voice. Ask me, is this conviction or is this control? Conviction will be specific, clean, and lead you to a small, honest adjustment. Control will be vague, shaming, and will drive you back to the screen for one more performance. If I ask you to add a sentence of clarity at a later time, I will give you peace to do it without panic. If I ask you to wait, I will put strength in your waiting. I have never left you. I do not measure you by speed, but by direction. And now the direction is inward, into rest, into trust, into the light that no reaction can dim. Give your body a liturgy for this waiting so your soul remembers what is true. Open your hands when the urge to grasp returns. Breathe in slowly and pray one sentence. Jesus, I have sent what you asked. Keep me in your peace. Read aloud a promise and let it rinse your mind. Step outside and find the sky. It refuses to rush the sun. Place boundaries on your checking, once every few hours or for this day not at all, and keep them as an offering. If you must speak to someone, choose a safe, wise voice not to replay the case, but to guard the peace. Do not gather a jury. Do not build a chorus to sing your side. Stay in the chapel where I am. Remember who you are while you wait. You are not a beggar at the door of someone's approval. You are my beloved, already held, already named, already sent. The response that comes, or does not yet come, cannot assign you value nor remove it. If reconciliation unfolds, rejoice without placing your peace on their pace. If silence lingers, remain without building stories that injure you. If a boundary is met with anger, do not trade your clarity for appeasement disguised as peacemaking. You can love without returning to bondage. Guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. As it is written, above all else, guard your heart. Proverbs 4:23. Guarding now looks like staying, not scrambling. My child, I am the Lord of the currents you cannot see. I am as near to you now as I was when you drafted each word in the light. The aftermath is not an afterthought to me. It is the workshop where I fit your courage to your identity and fasten your peace to your obedience. Do not return to the old chains of compulsion, of over-explaining, of invisible negotiations with fear. Return to me. Remain. Watch, therefore, not the screen, but your heart. Let me be the one who moves what needs moving and stills what should rest. Cast your anxiety upon me again and again, because I care for you, again and again. And as you wait, I will keep you, I will settle you, I will finish in you what I began when you pressed send. My child, stay with me here a moment longer. You began by quieting the noise, and in that stillness you heard the gentle stirring you kept mistaking for worry. I called you by name. I turned you from the winds of imagination to the nearness of my voice. From stillness, discernment was born. From discernment, courage rose. From courage, a clean action took shape, not a performance, not control, but light spoken in truth. Do you see the shepherding of your life? I did not arrive with thunder to force your steps. I reached you like the first light of dawn, warming the path until you could see where to place your foot next. This has always been my way with you, step by step, piece by piece, truth by truth, until what once felt impossible becomes simply the next faithful thing. Hear me as I gather you beneath my care. You are my beloved. You are not late in my hands. You are not condemned for feeling fear. You are invited into freedom that does not bow to fear. I do not measure you by speed, but by direction. A single step toward light is more precious to me than 1,000 circles of anxious planning. I have never left you. Even in the nights when delay lulled you, I watched over you. Even when silence felt like failure, I was teaching you to prefer peace over chaos, truth over immediate relief. This is not condemnation, nor is it abandonment. This is how I restore a heart, gently, steadily, and truly. Now receive this sober kindness. Delay turns love into regret. Delay wears a gentle mask. It whispers, later will be wiser, later will be safer, later will be easier. And while it sings, doors close without sound. What you keep calling later, I am calling today. Not to frighten you, but to free you from the slow theft of what is tender within you. As it is written, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Hebrews 3:15. Do not train your heart to live without obedience. Do not let what is alive become a museum of almosts. When tenderness is present, act while it is still warm. So here is your small, holy work. Pause, breathe. Whisper one sentence. Jesus, I choose your light. Steady me now. Then do the next faithful thing while your heart is soft. If I have shown you a message, write it now. If I have asked for an apology, own it now. If I have given you a boundary, state it now. Keep it simple, keep it clean, love without control, clarity without cruelty. Then send it today. Not to dramatize, not to perform, not to wrestle an outcome, simply to obey. Put the device down. Walk away from the courtroom of imagined replies. Step into the chapel of my presence and let peace hold your shoulders. After you act, your next obedience is to remain in peace. Do not resume the old negotiations with fear. Do not rehearse a dozen versions of yourself to manage their reaction. Remember what I have taught you, reconciliation or boundary. I am Lord of both paths. If reconciliation blooms, I will give you grace for the new ground you will walk together. If the boundary stands, I will give you strength to keep the gate without bitterness. Either way, I go before you and I stand with you. As it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. Light for the next step is enough. You do not need a map for the entire road to be faithful today. Let me rename what this moment truly is. It is not a grand finale. It is a hinge. A small act that turns the door of a life. a seed that does not look like a forest and yet contains one, a plumb line resetting a crooked wall with a single true drop. Do not despise the smallness. Do not confuse quiet obedience with insignificance. As it is written, watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour. Matthew 25:13. Watch not with suspicion, but with readiness. Guard the tenderness I have given you by using it now. I know the questions that rise. What if I fail? What if I sink? I remind you of Peter. When he measured the wind, he sank. When he cried out, I reached immediately. If you falter, call to me and I will steady you. I have not asked you to be fearless. I have asked you to look at me. I do not demand perfection. I invite direction. If tears come as you act, let them come. They are water that softens the soil for new roots. If trembling persists as you press send, take my hand within the tremor and know this. Obedience while trembling is still obedience. And for those whose path is the fence of wisdom, hear again the mercy in restraint. You can love and keep your no. You can bless and keep your distance. You can forgive and refuse to re-enter patterns that undo you. I am not leaving you alone to guard these lines. I am the one who taught your hand to draw them, and I will keep watch with you in the night seasons. If you are misunderstood, I will be your vindication over time. If silence stretches, I will be your companion within it. If change comes, I will give you discernment to recognize its fruit. Take this seal and rest your heart under it. As it is written, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. Psalm 32:8. My eye is not distant, it is loving. My counsel is not harsh, it is steady. I will guide you again tomorrow as I am guiding you now, but today is sufficient for today. Do the right thing while your heart is still tender. Today is enough to begin your healing. If this word has met you, mark the moment in light. Leave a simple witness that strengthens others. I'm doing it today. Speak it as agreement, not performance. And if you desire to keep walking in this encouragement, remain close. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that my word can meet you again in due season. For now, return to stillness. Write the line, pray the sentence, press send. Then let peace, like a hand at the small of your back, guide you forward while I remain beside you, before you, and within you, now and always.